guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids who are in elementary, middle/high school, and high school age. We're going into our 13th year of homeschooling this year. Lucky 13. I'm really excited because this week I'm going to be sharing all of the different curriculum choices that I have for my kids, for our family, for the 2023-2024 homeschool year. Today I am going to be doing 10th grade curriculum choices for my oldest. She would be in 10th grade if she were in public school. She's actually going into her 3rd year of high school level courses, which you will notice when I describe the different curriculum that she will be using for this coming homeschool year. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera around. I figured it would be easier for me to have it be top down and then I can go through the books that way. There are so many books. I do want to flip through a few of the different resources. If you have questions about anything that I talk about today, or if you want a more detailed look, please leave a comment and let me know, and I will see if I can get that up for you. So I'm going to turn the camera around and get started with 10th grade curriculum. Okay, so I know that in the intro, I did say that Emma is going into her 3rd year of high school level courses. That is because she has done a full year. She did a full year before she would have been a freshman in high school. She did US History, English 1, Algebra 1, Spanish 1, Physical Science. Is that all of the, I think that's all of the classes that she needed to take to complete a freshman year of high school. And so we're going into our 3rd year. I'm starting out with Spanish. She's doing Spanish 3 through BJU Press. She did Spanish 1 and 2 through BJU Press. She does a great job with languages and really enjoys it. So we are going to continue with this. I do really like this program. It's done online, so there's a lesson and then there is stuff that she has to do. There's typically a workbook, but I don't think that there is a workbook. I think it's just some handouts and maybe some stuff that I have to print off. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked at all of the curriculum fully yet. I haven't done my deep dive into planning either, but this is the first thing, Spanish 3. If you saw my unboxing video, you will know that we did get chemistry also from BJU Press. This is also done. There's 180 lessons, 180 days of lessons. It's not where you could use, 4 lessons in a day like some of the earlier elementary programs when there are many, many lessons in a curriculum. So this has 180 lessons. It is a full lab chemistry course. It comes with the lab manual, student handouts, and the textbook. There are video lessons. The labs are done on the computer as a demonstration. There's tests. It's a very traditional chemistry lab course for high school. I decided to get this because I do want a traditional chemistry course for her. I think she will enjoy it. I definitely wanted the math side of chemistry, and some of the chemistry curriculum that I was looking at would have the labs but not the math, or it would have math and no labs, which I will show you in just a second. I don't know how this will go because it is 180 days of lessons. I know that we are not purchasing the lab kit that goes with this program because it ends up being almost $700 or $800 for the full course. She doesn't need multiple lab courses. She did do physical science with lab, she did biology with lab, so she doesn't technically need the lab to graduate with chemistry. So we are going to do some of the lab work from this course, but just not physically doing the lab. So what we are going to do is use the labs from Guest Hollow, High School Chemistry in the Kitchen curriculum. I looked a lot at this program and I really like it. And I think that if I hadn't already read the majority of these books 2 years ago with my kids, then I would do this in addition to Life of Fred and call it chemistry. But we have read almost all of the literature in the Guest Hollow High School Chemistry in the Kitchen course that they have listed, because a lot of them are included in the History of Science Level J through Sonlight, which we did a couple of years ago. So what I'm going to do instead is use the labs that are in here and do that as the physical lab portion. Emma is going to observe the labs that are done through the BJU Press chemistry. We may do some of the lab stuff when it's being set up, and then she's just would observe the teacher doing it. You know, I have some work cut out for me. So I got Life of Fred Chemistry and Guest Hollow's High School Chemistry in the Kitchen because I really like this as a program. This has all of the math. This has no math, but it does have labs. So if you combine these two things, I think it's a pretty inexpensive way to teach chemistry. I also think that the kitchen chemistry experiments labs are going to be much better received for Emma. You can get like microchemical lab kits on like home science tools and things like that for a more inexpensive way to do chemistry labs that are not really written out for you in any curriculum. But I decided that we're going to just combine a bunch of stuff. So we're going to start with this. We're going to do the labs in here. We will see how far we get. If this becomes too much, because sometimes Spanish, which is also through BJU Press, can be a lot of work, I will revisit and see. I know that she is not going to be going into a science field, but I would like her to feel really prepared for college lab science, which she most likely will have to take. So this is chemistry. And I guess I did want to mention that there is just like a schedule that it doesn't really come with all of the books. You have to get the books extra. You have to get the supplies for the kitchen experiments extra. It does come in a PDF. There's a ton of like clickable videos and articles that you can look at. This just looks like a lot of fun, this Life of Fred chemistry. If you've ever read any of the Life of Fred math books, they are entertaining, I think, and definitely a different way to approach math and science. It's really funny, and I think that it will be a good way to kind of keep chemistry fun. She is really looking forward to chemistry. I loved chemistry in high school. I think that helps to make things a little bit more enjoyable when I'm teaching things that I really like. Biology I did enjoy in high school, but we struggled this year. Okay, that was a lot about chemistry. And then part of English 3 is Worldly Wise, book 10. This obviously would be for sophomore level, but she has done these books starting in 6th grade with whatever grade she would be going into in public school, so that's how I've done that. Okay, and then we will move into English 3. It's a lot of books. So for English 3, it's actually going to be Sonlight's level 330, I think is what it is. It's the level 300 20th century world literature, I believe is what it's called. Let me see if I can find my instructor's guide here. Yes, so it's called 20th century literature, and I do have a bunch of books. There's so many books. I know that we're definitely going to read a lot of these. There are a couple that there's one that I'm definitely changing, and I'm not sure if we will read every single one of these books. I think that there are, let me see, there's 24 books just for the English portion, and I think there's another 20 or 22 books for the history portion. That is a lot of reading. She reads almost all of the literature herself. We do partner with the history reading, partly because I enjoy reading it with her. And then we usually do combine Brave Writer as well. Brave Writer has not released their new books yet. Those will be released, I think, the 1st and 2nd or 2nd and 3rd of June. If you're watching this video when it goes live, so in a couple of weeks, they will release their books. I know that in the past there have been boomerangs for books that we are reading through Sonlight Literature, and sometimes what I do is I will take that book guide from Brave Writer and replace whatever Sonlight Language Arts stuff is for that particular book and do the Brave Writer guide instead, because I really enjoy doing those. I'm not entirely sure what we will be doing. I think for the most part she is going to read almost all of these. I usually do give her a pass on a couple of books, but we haven't gone through them yet, so I'm just going to share all of them with you. So the first is Children of the River, The Moves Make the Man, The Contender, Kon-Tiki, The Wave, Robert Frost's Poems, The Metamorphosis, Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. Another thing that I want to mention is that if there is a movie associated with a book that we are reading, we almost always watch the adaptation after we read the book. We did that a lot with classical literature this past year. We watched the newer Jane Eyre movie. We watched Pride and Prejudice, every single adaptation that they have made, including Lost in Austen, which if you've not seen it, it is hilarious. You should definitely see it. Alas, Babylon, running out of desk space already. Heart to Heart, new poems inspired by 20th century American art. And then we have Walk Two Moons, Hope Was Here, The Great Gilly Hopkins, The Wednesday Wars, The Tempest. She did Twelfth Night and Romeo and Juliet this past year. I don't know if she did another Shakespeare, but this, I really like these Shakespeare Made Easy books. They are quite good. The Old Man and the Sea, which I really like, Cry the Beloved Country, Parallel Journeys, The Snow Goose, My Father's Daughter. This is by the same author that wrote From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler and The View from Saturday, which she read a couple of years ago, and I think is on Jack's list to read this year. Heart of Darkness, The Great Gatsby. Brave New World is one that I know that we're definitely not going to be doing. I'm replacing this with 1984, mainly because of some of the content. Even though she is old enough to deal with the content, I just don't think that it needs to be read. I think that we can get quite a bit out of 1984, similar type of book. And then The Great Brain is the last book that she will be reading for literature this year, unless we switch things up based on Brave Writer book choices. So that is always up in the air, and that is something that I kind of figure out once Brave Writer releases their book selections for the coming year, and just when I sit down to actually go through all of these books, because I do go through them. I don't pre-read them, but I do go through a lot of the notes. I read, all of the content that is in the instructor's guides well in advance so that I can make a good plan for the year. And then based on what I come up with here, I write it all in these boxes. I do have a setup video where I talk more about how I set up my planner and where I put things, but this is all just what I have purchased for 2023-2024. And then for history, she is going to be doing 20th century world history, which is level 300 from Sonlight. And so she has a bunch of books for this as well. We have The 6-Day Hero, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Road from Home, You Want Women to Vote, Lizzie Stanton, A Night Divided, The Green Glass Sea, The Hiding Place, God Spoke Tibetan, There's a Sheep in My Bathtub, Living on the Devil's Doorstep, and China's Long March, 6,000 Miles of Danger. That is just some of the books. The rest of the books, The Story That Cannot Be Told, First They Killed My Father, Red Scarf Girl, A Memoir of the Cultural Revolution, Warriors Don't Cry, World War I, an Uncle Eric book. We read World War II with level 100, and it was not my favorite. So I don't know if we will read this or if we will skip this and replace it with something else or try and do something else. I wasn't a huge fan of the World War II book, so neither was Emma. So we will see. 7 Men Who Rule the World from the Grave, Made You Look, How Advertising Works and Why You Should Know. And then, let me see. Now, this book, the Advanced Placement Edition World History Modern, which is the year 1200 to present, was the old spine a few years ago when I originally purchased level 300. I actually got level 300, I think, in February of last year before they made the updates for 2022-2023, which is when they changed the spine out for this book, which is Modern History and Pictures. I have heard mixed reviews about both of these. So I did get the new spine, and I also purchased the replacement instructor's guide. When you purchase new instructor's guides for levels that you've already purchased in the past, you get a 50% discount from Sonlight. So it wasn't that expensive for me to get the new instructor's guide. And to see some of the updated books. They also updated the Bible portion, which I will share in just a minute. But I'm not sure if I will combine these two books, if I will lean more on the Modern History and Pictures, or if I will lean more on this book. I'm just not sure, and I really need to sit down and go through both of them, read some of the notes that are in the instructor's guides anyways, just so that I can see. I like the idea of a spine that is a picture book. However, I am worried that maybe I won't have as much information. Although that being said, I do have another, 22 books for history. And I think that I already mentioned this, but if I didn't, I split the history reading with Emma. So I will read aloud a lot of it. And that is mainly because I enjoy the discussion approach to homeschooling that we take with history and literature. And so I will read and we will talk through a lot of the questions that are in the instructor's guide, as well as take many rabbit trails. I find it fascinating to go through all of the history. I've learned so much over the past 12 years going through history with my kids, so I really do enjoy it. Again, this is just preliminary. I do have both of the spines. I will not use all of both of the spines, and even this book is not fully used. I think they only use a portion of it because it is only 20th century world history, and this starts at the year 1200. So it's not like this entire 700-page book is going to be read. Yes, so that is history. And then for Bible this year, so for Bible, the way that we treat it, we do not treat it as a class in our homeschool. It is just something that we do. Generally, I don't keep track of credits for Bible. I guess that I could. My kids do their own devotions. They do their own Bible reading and Bible journaling. I have used many resources over the years that I could probably leave some posts for in the description box. We've used the Kids Write the Word journals from Cultivate What Matters. We've used Bible journals from christianbook.com. We have used all kinds of different resources. I was excited to see some of the books that they have for this year for level 300, and I think that I probably will read them with Emma. The Case for Christ, I really like this, by Lee Strobel. How to Ruin Your Life by 30, I've not read this book, but I'm interested to see, and it's a pretty short book, so we will see. Mere Christianity, I read this in college, so we will see how this goes over. This was part of one of my, I think, either my freshman or senior seminar classes. I read this book. I enjoy it, and I've read it several times since then. Emma may, I don't know how it will go over for her. We will see. And then Why I Believe by Chip Ingram. And I mentioned this in my unboxing video. My husband is actually going through a Bible study at church with a group of people that is by Chip Ingram as well. So I am kind of interested to read through this book. I will probably partner with Emma for a lot of this. The way that the high school levels for Sonlight are written are so that they do them on their own, and then you check the questions essentially. But we do a much more discussion-based approach. Yes, she does write out answers and narrates and does a bunch of papers and all of that stuff, but I really like to sit down with my kids, my older kids especially, and have those conversations with them as we're reading through books, because my kids, they're very fascinating, and it's really enjoyable for me. So that is Bible, which technically it's an elective. I don't I have not counted Bible on Emma's transcript at all. I mainly just do the core subjects, her foreign language, and then her fine arts, which last year she did a semester of band through the public school, so she got half a credit for that. And she also did an animation course that we kind of designed together. This summer and fall, she's going to be working on a digital portfolio and trying to perhaps start some online businesses and maybe, or one online business. And hopefully she'll be able to shadow one of my friends who has her own graphic design business. I'm not sure how much that will be a possibility for Emma to do, but hopefully sometime she will be able to go and, you know, help out and do screen printing and stuff like that, and just kind of observe so that she knows whether or not that's something that she really wants to pursue, because right now it is something that she wants to pursue. These are the boxes where I put all of the curriculum that we will be using for the year. I don't think I mentioned that either. For math, if you saw my video yesterday, you will know that she will be doing Algebra 2 with teaching textbooks. We really like teaching textbooks. We use Singapore Primary US Edition math right through level 6B and then move into teaching textbooks. We've tried several other programs, but teaching textbooks seems to work the best. We really like the hybrid approach of me printing out the lessons, her working on the paper, and then having the ability to just enter in the answers on the app. Super helpful. So I think that is all of the subjects for Emma for her 10th grade year. Like I said at the beginning, this is actually her 3rd year of high school level courses. So because of that, she has a little bit more flexibility. In Maine, where we are, she is able to take dual enrollment classes for free through the community college or the University of Maine system, which is amazing. She doesn't feel ready to do that at this point, so we're holding off, which is totally fine with me. But because she kind of front-loaded her high school, she has this extra year, so she can continue to enroll as a homeschooler in the state of Maine. And take advantage of dual enrollment classes up through what would be her senior year in high school if she were in public school. Perhaps she will take a gap year. Perhaps she will start working and, you know, doing some sort of an internship or apprenticeship. You know, she has a lot of options, which is really all that I would like for her. So we will see, but I did want to kind of clarify that because even though these are 10th grade curriculum choices, it's really 11th grade curriculum that she's doing. You know, most 11th graders are doing chemistry, English 3, language 3, algebra 2, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where we are at for this coming year. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.